It's after 9, we'll, final forum, we'll call the Bylaw Committee to order. First up is, groups of minutes. Well, okay.
Here she is.
Oh, she is? There she is. Oh,
Hi, Kayla.
morning.
How are you?
Do we have any minutes to approve?
No.
No, okay, that's fine, so.
Orange.
That's all right. At the last meeting wasn't posted properly, so just an informational meeting only, however, we go over a lot of the assignments. Excuse me. We still have our fourth priority for now, to be addressed, large venues, farm animals, safety portion of riverfront. The litigation has been addressed. Do we want to proceed? Do we want that as part of the, I don't plan to last late, one of our meetings, we said we still want to do something with a riverfront. Let's see, yeah.
They're just gonna make some policy, right?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, just making it a policy as opposed to making it a bylaw that a selectman would adopt.
Is that based on the lawsuit decision?
Right?
Is this based on the lawsuit decision?
I don't know what the lawsuit result, I gotta find out what the result of the lawsuit was, I don't know how that came out.
I think it was because it was specific to conservation and having it in the floodplain versus the safety portion of it. I had actually come up with just IDing properties and making
Okay.
sure that propane tanks were strapped down and that we had contact info if we had an emergency.
Okay.
So life safety versus all the
So the policy should be really to identify the property with numbers or identification.
Yep, which a lot of them have already done. And again, the other part is just if they have propane storage, if it's attached to a trailer, that's one thing, but if it's on the ground, which a lot of them have, it's required to be strapped to a tree or something. They've had the floods going down the river.
Oh, okay, so it's,
So there's requirements, there's permit requirements regardless of that,
okay,
under mass general law. And a lot of them have done that as well.
You know for sure this drinking was, right?
That was
The lawsuit.
the lawsuit regarding
Is it Mark Green?
Mark Britton.
yeah,
Yeah, that had to do with a number of units on the site and setbacks and et cetera. So
And I'm just confused what the determination was.
the determination was that DEP said they could have 5 trailers on that site, if I remember correctly. And he was trying to get them too close to the property lines, and we didn't think that was appropriate. So he finally agreed that he would honor the setback requirements and be allowed to have 5 trailers. So that was the gist of it. I don't know what else, there's something else.
Well, I mean, we can just postpone this whole bylaw based on what the lawsuit decision was. We have to decide what overlaps and what doesn't.
I think we're just amending it to a policy versus the bylaw.
there's a zone bylaw about it, but it's pretty, it's not very specific. I mean, there's certain requirements in it, but it was really up to, we found out what the zoning bylaw required versus what was required for fire safety and separation, for lack of a better term, was different. So we said, if it complied with fire safety and stuff like that, then the zoning bylaw, this is a very simplification of what was done of the bylaw.
So is the policy coming from select board or fire?
It would be from the fire department making the recommendation with the building department to the select board, kind of like we did with food chain.
And if people decide not to follow it, then there's no enforcement?
There's still enforcement because they are required under MGL to apply for permits to store flammable combustibles.
And the
And
select
they
board
are
is the
required
enforcing
to
officer.
address.
Yeah, the biggest portion of the zone bylaw and this policy is fire safety. In a nutshell, if they comply with fire safety, then the setbacks with the zone bylaw would be okay. Because it got to be very difficult to, because of the shapes of a lot of the property, you couldn't apply a building lot specific requirement to the riverfront because a lot of those lots are either long and thin or narrow along the riverfront. They may not have a lot of 150-foot square, if you would, simply the way they're laid, because it's old. It goes back to the 1800s when the property was a lot of the property in the river in the honeypot area was laid out to either long and thin or narrow or whatever you want to call it, and you couldn't fit 150-foot square on it, but a lot of them have enough area to put multiple trailers, and so then we decided it got to be too confusing to try to make one size fit all. So if they comply with fire safety, then for the most part, okay. But there's a lot to do with IDing the properties, like Mike says.
But as far as the bylaw committee's responsibility to this, we can scratch it off already. So.
Except we just gotta make the policy and present it to the select board so that they can adopt it. That's about it.
No, so, I mean, I don't know, Kayla they would still have to comply with the flood.
Yeah,
They
whatever.
can't be knocking trees down. and
Yeah.
all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So
But that's
They
already
still-
covered by our own, wetlands protection regulations and bylaw.
They still, yeah, it's not unique to fire safety. There's multiple, Board of Health. You got none of them have, septic tank, but they have porta potties, they have the conservation. It's not a one size fit all here. There's a lot of pieces fitting together. The biggest one we were concerned with was fire safety because that isn't mentioned, but the conservation has their own set of rules on that.
as far as the site, they did 5 because then it doesn't trigger a campground, right? Was it 5? Like it was 5 or over?
5 or more.
5 or more, yeah, so that's why they went with the 5.
Yeah, well, that's what DEP allowed. I don't know why DEP allowed it.
Because I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it should.
over 5 becomes-
I mean, that's another issue that needs to be addressed on how you're gonna deal with Mass General law in regards to campgrounds. It's 5 or more. So technically, it's under the Board of Health regs that they're supposed to follow. But generally, everything mimics the same. But it's really who has the enforcement on the site. Because now you're looking at 2 different entities. Does the Board of Health have jurisdiction over it, or does?
I think it's specific.
Yeah,
I think it's two separate issues, so maybe we can put together a clear policy that covers.
Yeah.
and that this one with the 5 is an exception. I mean, that's because it went to court.
Right.
I mean, you can always
Your free time.
stipulate that.
Yeah, I think each,
So,
I don't think one entity is going to have sole responsibility by the sound of it. They're each going to have, it's like any place else, in a restaurant. Just use that as an example. Fire code has a responsibility. Building department has a responsibility, and Board of Health and so on and so forth. So it's not like one group can come in and have sole everything. Each has their own specific area that they have to be responsible for.
We've actually done inspections together, too. When I was on, and remember we went out and checked the lots and the beautiful, see what was going on.
I don't think that's right.
You don't think that? I thought you can all see this.
All right, so my whole point was we can close the chapter on the river bylaw, right?
It's
We're presenting the policy to the
bylaw.
select board.
Change the policy.
There's nothing else that we have to do for that one big ticket item.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta find out what the Board of Selectmen's policy is on this, or I mean, I don't wanna say it's closed on Riverfront. I guess it's a matter of, does everybody have, is everybody's area of responsibility clear already? It is,
It's in that checklist.
okay,
We just have to pull out the conservation portion because that would be independent. It's not part of life safety, that's part of the
Yeah.
lawsuit.
okay.
You can put something on the bottom, like, don't comply with conservation board of health, whatever regulations exist.
It would be very similar to your underground storage tanks. So if they exceed the licensing that we have to come to the select board, it has to be posted if it's over a certain quantity. The select board needs to have an open meeting and, public hearing and approve that. So that's all part of a policy to under.
Okay,
So I'll just pull out the conservation, put the stuff on the bottom saying there's still requirements under.
okay.
for conservation.
Yes, so
Yeah,
in that case, yes, this is
We
pretty
should
much
take
done.
a fast look at that, that's how completed.
Yeah, I'll bring
Because
that.
I worry about the enforcement portion of it. If they're non-compliant, how does that, who,
It would be a cease and desist order, if they're non-compliant with putting up a street address, that's required under
yeah,
building code and fire regulation. And then any quantity of stored within combustible fluids requires a permit. Propane, they exempt the small little barbecue ones. So the smallest you have in your barbecue, you don't have to.
The 1 pound ones you're talking
No,
about?
the
20
20 pound. Right.
But if they are not strapped to a vehicle, then if it's on the ground, that should,
Even the 20 pounder.
no. If they're on a barbecue grill, no.
Okay.
so you don't want to get into a situation where you have to go to court to enforce full non-compliance. And this should be something written in there because that, if you have to go to court, you can always say, hey, there's a section.
There is a section
And
there on jail too.
Good, because how many times I've gone in there and there's nothing in our bylaw for me to enforce.
There's a failure to comply with the order of the fire chief, and that triggers a fine, or they can appeal to the state fire marshal when it's off our fleet. Fire
Yeah.
marshal comes in and says. I
Same
don't
with
care.
building. Most things go directly to court. It's always so much.
So I'll bring the updated one. Right. Okay.
Final.
Final.
Final, subject to change. Okay, town common, I've got to get together with the police department, with Billy Mitch, because the select board has a policy, if you would, on town common, but doesn't address everything, and Mitch was requesting a few other things be put in there about, I can't remember all the things he was looking for, they were kind of minor. So I'm not sure if we want to make it part of their policy or the bylaw, but at least get that from Mitch and present it to the select board to see if they want to amend their policy or make it a bylaw. I'm not sure which is the best option there.
That's for the use of it?
That's for the town, yeah, yes. So you probably have a couple of things to it, although most of your stuff might already be in there,
I think we put that in.
yeah. But I want to check, I gotta double check with Mitch.
Ready for Oktoberfest this weekend?
I'm sorry?
You're ready for Oktoberfest this weekend?
Is it this weekend?
Oh, it is?
Oh, jeez. I gotta go someplace.
All right, anyways, let's see. Review other assignments from our May 20th meeting
Tie everything down.
on, there we go. Does anybody have any updates? I know at the last meeting, we kind of went over some of this stuff. Plus we got a 9:30 addition to our regular meeting here. We're covering hazard mitigation for those of us that are on it, so I don't want to run this too long. Anybody have any updates on their assignments they want to go over? You want to put that off until maybe the next time?
I mean, would it be helpful to just like check in on that? I mean, so the noise bylaw, Mitch had suggested some amendments. I don't know that anybody else had sent any amendments, so I can incorporate those. And other than that, I think that one's pretty good to go.
Okay,
Unless people had issues with it.
okay. If you could just send it around for our next meeting, please?
Yeah.
Okay,
Before-
with your revisions and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I'll clean it up.
If you, Adam, if you can get it before the weekend, if that's possible, that would be helpful, because then we could all take a ride by the Young Men's Club.
Sure. Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I can probably do that today.
You should
Oh.
have some weekend.
Yes, do you want to borrow the meeting? Invite a couple of officers to stay, just turn on.
Yeah.
Get away.
So how many people here are on the Hadley Mitigation Committee and haven't been sworn in?
Maybe
I'll do a swearing here. So sign here. Solemnly bear faithfully and impartially perform all duties towards upon you as a member of the Hadley Mitigation Committee, the term of
1 year?
1 year completion.
It's completion, actually.
Completion in accordance with the bylaws of the Hadley and Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
They do.
Fabulous. Legibly, write your name. Legibly.
Legible.
That's a lot.
My mother wanted me to be a doctor. That's my signature.
I'm a PhD doctor, if that's the case.
What I should do is just have it from there on off to the bank, but if it goes over and
So that's the approved by FEMA.
tape everything down.
Yeah, you should.
Should was planned.
How long does it take normally?
That's fine meeting.
So,
Public hearing.
Animal control. I had put down myself for animal control, whoops.
Thanks for everything.
But somebody else was, somebody had something that they were supposed to send me or something, if I remember.
Was it Mitch? They had to do with animal?
Might have been Mitch, yeah. Food trucks were done. Let's see, chapter 42, 49, 53, okay. Chapter 75, farming. You were looking at into that. Chapter 90, fees, Jessica and Mike. You read that?
Still working on that.
Okay. Chapter 6 and 11, I think you were just gonna do some questioning as to what was done on those. You want me to go down the list of what you got?
You weren't here.
I had to leave early at the last meeting.
This is from the May 20th meeting.
So, yeah, you can talk more down, and I'll just.
Alright. I'll go with the list of what we have from the May 20th meeting.
Yeah.
Some of it was
We
just,
also went over it on the September meeting.
Yeah, we did. September meeting, good.
that's one hill.
Yeah, but I didn't take any notes on that because that one wasn't an official meeting.
I have the list here.
You have the list? Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
If you just email me, that'd be great.
okay,
Send me the email.
sure. I think I already signed this.
Yeah.
Let's see. Chapter 6 and 11, Jess. Chapter 17, I didn't write what they are, I just wrote the number. Chapter 17 was Mitch. Chapter 24, Jim, Mitch, and maybe Adam, question mark. Chapter 75, Jess. Chapter 90, Jess and Mike. Chapter 195, I was gonna contact Scott. And then 209 and 211 is me. 218 is Mike. 230 is me and Scott. 240 is Adam. 255 is Scott, and 260 is me.
Say some other time about it.
Gonna see the back of that, Jim.
I know we don't have a ton of time, but the right to farm thing, I think we need to I don't think farming is defined in the bylaw.
Yes, it is.
It is?
Our bylaw references Mass General Law's definition of farming.
Okay,
Yes.
because I think people just assume that because we're a right to farm, they can do whatever they want, wherever they want.
Now, farming is, Mass General Law specifically say the farm, to be an official farm, they need to be over 5 acres, or 5 acres or more. I think it's, I forget exactly how it's defined, but I know it's 5 acres. I don't know if it means contiguous or just farming 5 acres, something like that. But just if you go and look around, there's a lot of farms that are farming, I want to say 1 to 3 acres. And they're calling themselves a farm, which they can.
Right.
There's nothing against
Yeah.
doing that. They are farming, but they don't fall under the right to farm bylaw.
Do we have that noted in the bylaw on the bottom?
Can I look another 5 minutes?
We specifically mentioned farming in both the zone bylaw and the general bylaws, referencing Mass General Laws, I don't know what section it is, I don't want to get into that. But there's a specific section in Mass General Laws that defines.
You're welcome to come in.
5
It's not
acres or
private.
more.
If you
The
wanna come in
state
and
is
set this
looking
up.
to amend that because across the state, there's a lot of places that are farming less than 5 acres. But to my knowledge, that has not been changed yet. Okay, I don't know what they're looking to change it to. I don't know. But they're gonna be careful with that one because they could really open up a mess if they get too liberal. If they're too lenient with it.
Well, if you have a lesser acreage requirement and they're just growing crops, is that, I don't see that as an issue versus somebody that's got, again, an animal menagerie in their backyard of a residential area.
Anybody can, I mean, you can raise any crop and you can call yourself a farm, like I said.
Mhm.
And if you're just raising something and selling it, I don't see that there's a problem with that. The problem gets into when you try to say, well, I'm exempt from that because I'm a farm and I've only won a couple
Well,
of
that's why I think we're
acres.
trying to separate the shop versus the animal.
Yes,
Farming.
yes, exactly. And that's really where it comes into is the farm. I mean, there's people all over the place that have,
We have a cow.
they have, I don't want to say they have cows, but they have, you know, ponies and specifically chickens. And I know there's people that have, some little ponies. And by themselves, if somebody has a pony on their yard and they have some room for it and the animal's quiet, there's no big deal. It's when the animals start to become a nuisance to the neighbors,
Right.
then it could be a
That's the
problem.
issue. Right.
Specifically, that could be all over the place.
Yeah, I have it in my backyard. I have
So they're trying to
goats,
sneak the
chickens,
animals into the farming.
Yeah, and that,
but they
there's
assume they
there's
can't.
no
Right.
bylaw, there's nothing in the town bylaws that say you can't have any critters in your yard unless they're making noise or a nuisance. And that falls under a separate section. That's what we want to get into this, animal control, because Mitch actually had some wording he wanted to put in there, to address noise from specific animals, or animals in general, if you would. Let's see. A lot of the stuff that Jessica had was really just investigating to see, does it need to be updated?
Yeah, just like a word needs to be changed,
Right,
anything like
yeah,
that.
there wasn't, except for, I wanna say probably a couple in the 200 range, and the animal control, most of these were pretty much okay.
Mhm.
Except for changing lookings, like, you know, having had some stuff was really about lookings for, some of the wording is quite outdated. I forget what some of the words that were in there,
Invalid.
what?
Invalid.
Yeah, invalid, I mean, the meaning is understood, but the wording is probably inappropriate in this age, and we can use better, nicer words.
More politically correct.
Well, even that, I mean, just to call somebody an invalid is really an insult, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay,
This is the checklist.
but again, when they're written, these things are written back in the 1900s.
I mean, we got rid of most, when we codified, we got rid of most of that.
Yeah, and it's understood, I mean, to get rid of everything in one fell swoop is almost impossible. As you clear it up and all of a sudden like, oh, we missed that,
Mhm.
you know, that's not a problem. It's okay, let's just straighten it out. Nobody's picking on anybody for that. What else do we have?
But we will
Search
for those.
So we've got 6 more meetings that we can try, because we want to try to get, finish up this committee for the annual town meeting so that we can be disbanded.
Come off the payroll.
Yeah, I know when this committee was put together, and Carolyn, for the original members, and Carolyn said this, that we had a gentleman here that was on the Wilbraham, bylaw review, and he said it took them about 5 years, and we all kind of scoffed at it. Boy, didn't tell you. It's all of that. There's a lot to cover, especially when you have your regular jobs to do. So this is like a part-time thing for everybody. So much appreciated that we're all putting your time into it, and the new members and the ones that have been here since the beginning. And we got 4. Oh, wait a second, we don't have a time for this one on mine.
Right.
Oh, you started yours at 9:30. I just mentioned it on ours.
Do we have any amendments that we need to make for the fall special time?
Well, it's too late.
Okay.
That meeting is gonna be Thursday, so we're not gonna make it.
Okay.
So we were thinking about it, but then we decided, let's just put them all together with the annual
Yeah.
and, so. Okay.
Oh, that's what coming in.
Let's see.
You guys can.
Nobody's stopping.
Mr. Scott.
Morning, Scott.
Very good.
Ben, how are you?
Mr. Bennett.
What's that, if you're just meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Just this morning.
Yeah,
she
go ahead.
wasn't there.
I'm gonna make,
I swear.
make a motion to adjourn the bylaw committee meeting.
Second. All,
I bet you're all set.
any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.